Welcome to Deadpool, Art of War, right here at Comicstorian. My name is Benny and I'm going to be your narrator for today. Deadpool Art of War is a miniseries that came out a little while ago, and just like Deadpool's Secret Agent that we did recently, we're going to run down the Deadpool Art of War video. Not much more to say about this, just a fun Deadpool story. If you like this, make sure you subscribe to our channel, click that like button, and don't forget, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, where you get early access to a lot of our projects. A long time ago, there was a man named Sun Tzu Wu. He was a famous Chinese general who wrote The Art of War, a philosophy of war for managing and winning battles. That work caught the attention of Ho Lu, the king of Wu. Ho Lu wanted to test Sun Tzu's theories by having it applied to women, to which Sun Tzu agreed. 180 women were brought forth, all handed weapons, and they were told what was expected of them. They indicated that they understood. Sun Tzu placed the king's two favorites as heads of the two groups and ordered them to turn right. The two women laughed instead, because apparently they thought it was all amusing. He then ordered them to turn left, and still, they laughed at him. If the words of the command are not clear and distinct, if the orders are not comprehended, then you blame the general. If, however, they are clear and the soldiers disobey, then it is the officer's fault. So an obvious thing needed to be done. The women were beheaded, despite the king's wishes otherwise. They were then replaced, and the new women were given the same orders. And the women marched with precision. By the time that they were finished, they were perfect. The king could have ordered them to go through fire and water, and they would have obeyed. However, Sun Tzu met a grisly fate. He was stabbed in the back by a sword wielded by none other than Deadpool. Deadpool says that those concubines had relatives who were none too happy about them being killed, so they hired him. Or maybe it was their descendants? It all gets mashed together when you think long about it. Anyways, as Deadpool throws Sun Tzu's body to the ground, he notices several bamboo scrolls scattered across it. He picks up one and he reads, "The Art of War." Wow! It's a whole series of books about how to fight wars! 13 chapters on it. If translated, it could be turned into the definitive word on how to wage battle. Why, it could even be applied to other things, like business. Which means money. Lots of money. Just need a major publisher and $1 million advance and I'm all set to go. So, back in our current time, Deadpool finds that The Art of War has already been published dozens of times. So says the publisher lady. Deadpool says that that's cool and all, but what if it was published by him? The publisher tells him that it doesn't matter who it is published by. And Deadpool takes out his sword, holding it to the woman's neck, asking, "How about now? Does it not matter?" The woman stares in his eyes, telling him, "No, it doesn't." And suddenly, dozens of automated guns spring out and they begin to hose down Deadpool. After being blasted away, the woman says that the only way that they could republish something like that is if he had a new spin on it, a new angle. If he was able to do that, then maybe they'd be interested. Maybe, Deadpool. So after dusting himself off, Deadpool asks, "What if I made it into a survival manual? Like the whole world is at war and this book is the only chance you have to survive." The woman sits back in her chair, telling him, "It could be interesting, but the only problem is the world isn't at war." Deadpool picks up the scrolls and he begins to head out, but before leaving, he turns back, shooting the top of the woman's chair, stating, "Next time, don't shoot." So Deadpool finds a nice quiet rooftop to brainstorm, and he begins to come up with the best plan to send the world spiraling into war. Who better to start a war with the gods, right? And what god comes to mind? Loki. Some of the best fights were with Loki and Thor. Make it big enough and Thor brings the Avengers, which means anybody can play. But which Loki are we working with? Kid Loki? Nah. Busty femme Loki? No. Screw continuity. I'm going classic. Loki circa Silver Surfer #4. Total badass and gunning for Thor. So after dressing for the occasion, Deadpool visits Loki, and he offers him a solution to his problems. Inviting himself to Loki's feast, Deadpool says that there are 5 things that he's going to have to keep in mind when going to war. Moral law, heaven, hell, the commander, and method and discipline. Method and discipline mean everything is organized. The commander symbolizes all virtues of war. Earth means distances and terrain. Heaven is night and day, and moral law is the soldier's dedication to their leader. Are the troops here dedicated to their leader? Loki says that he would believe so. And just then all of the trolls shout, "Oh, hail Loki!" Deadpool then tells him, "Okay, if That's covered. Now I feel we need to fool our opponent. Make them believe the opposite of what's real. If I can attack, then don't. If I'm far away, make the opponent think that I'm close. Loki thinks about it and tells him, I understand. Now, Deadpool, do it for me. After being kind of forced into it, Deadpool heads over to Asgard to tell Thor about Loki's plans. Thor asks why would he believe him, and Deadpool tells him, you want proof? Just look out the window. Loki is marching on Asgard, Thor. And sure enough, when Thor looks out into the valley, there are Loki's troops. Thor tells the Warriors 3 and the other fighters that they should put an end to his brother's schemes once and for all. And just as Thor is getting ready to engage, Loki calls upon the giants to create a distraction. Within all of the confusion, Loki takes out his mace, cracking Thor in the back of the head. Deadpool is typing away at his laptop, stating, it's by paying close attention to this that I can tell who is likely to win and who is likely to lose. Waging war, isn't it fun? Loki continues his war and plunder all the way to the steps of All-Father Odin with Thor in tow. Loki then calls out to Odin that he shall surrender all of Asgard to him or bear witness to the death of his eldest son. Thor yells for him not to do it, but Odin marches from his chambers and kneels. He tells the Asgardians to offer up no resistance, and from this moment forward, 'tis Loki who is the ruler of Asgard, so say we all. Silence falls on everyone, and Odin repeats himself, so say we all. And everyone in unison shouts, so say we all. Loki pauses for a moment and asks, did I just win? I won? I finally won? Later, as Loki is taking his place on the throne, he says, I do not understand. I have won. What more need do I have for battles? And Deadpool asks him, are you kidding? You're not just planning on stopping with Asgard, are you? There's so much more out there. For starters, you could rule Earth, Loki. Loki asks, Midgard? And Deadpool tells him, no, Earth. Our name for Earth is Earth because it's made of Earth. Loki then asks, what stake do you have to see your own world overrun? And Deadpool tells him, honestly, book deal. So after being chained in the dungeons, Deadpool says that he probably shouldn't have said that out loud. Either way, he's gonna get back to writing but as Deadpool reaches for his laptop, he slips, falling face first into the ground. Thor looks down, stating that he is quite the fool, and he kicks the laptop over. And as Deadpool gets back to work, Thor asks if there's anything in that book that tells them how to shred the chains forged by trolls from pure mithril. Deadpool tells him nope, but he can tell him what Loki's going to do next. He's going to send his forces down the Rainbow Bridge, and he's going to start a war on Earth. They're going to pick fights with some of Earth's heroes, one of which is the Hulk. But sitting here is boring. We should go out there and see all the action, Thor. So Deadpool coughs up a paperclip, and Thor says, does he think that Asgardian locks can be picked by earthly metal? Then he himself is a buffo. But before he could finish, with a little bit of jiggling around, Deadpool's shackles pop open, and he asks, should I do yours too? Thor remains quiet for a moment, and when he realizes he's wrong, he tells him, yes. Yes, you should. As Deadpool gets to work on Thor's shackles, he asks, would you be interested in a copy of Deadpool's Art of War? And Thor tells him that he is strongly considering it. After freeing everyone, Odin returns to his throne to find Hela keeping watch while Loki is on his campaign. Odin walks up to her, stating, dost thou wish to fight? Then by all means lift a hand. But be warned, it will not go well for thee. Hela readies herself, but says perhaps another time, and she simply vanishes. Back on the throne, Odin tells the remaining trolls that they have 30 seconds to depart the Imperial City. After that, thou will most assuredly die. As the halls are filled with the chants of all hail Odin, Odin then asks where might Loki be. He must be brought forth to receive his punishment. Deadpool holds up his hand, stating that he's pretty sure Loki's on Earth, and Thor asks, how do you know? And Deadpool then says that he suggested he go there. The ringing of clashing blades can be heard as swords and knives are all pointed at Deadpool, and he says, okay, suggest might have been too strong a word. Thor shouts, asking, how could you have done such a thing? And Deadpool says, because it won't be a problem. They got like a bazillion heroes back at old terra firma. Loki's gonna get clobbered. Thor then asks, how do you know? And Deadpool waves his finger, telling him, because they have a Hulk, who at this very moment is actually slamming Loki repeatedly into the ground. But it doesn't take long for our other villains to try and get a piece of the pie, as Mole Man is trying to capture the Hulk. With Hulk now preoccupied, Loki's forces have to fight all the way into the evening hours. And that's when Captain America shows up and assembles the Avengers. With the trolls being handled, this allows time for Hulk to do what he does best, smashing things, which at this very moment is Mole Man's turn. After dealing with that, Hulk climbs back out of the hole that he fell through to find himself surrounded by a horde of trolls. He sighs, "Fantastic." And as the fire rains from above, a voice asks, "Did somebody say fantastic?" As the Fantastic Four join the fray, Thing tells Hulk that even though they're working together, he still hates his guts. And Hulk tells him, "Yeah, whatever." Meanwhile, elsewhere, the trolls begin to wind down after a day of pillaging when one notices something moving in the water. He takes a closer look when suddenly Atlantean soldiers jump out, followed by Namor riding Giganto. Namor blows the horn, calling out to his troops, "Onward, men of Atlantis! Imperious Rex!" Now, with most of the heroes all joining in the fight, Deadpool has a chance to get back to work on his laptop. That is, until a rampaging troll knocks him off his taxi. He reaches for the laptop when suddenly a giant troll foot smashes it to pieces. Deadpool grabs them, panicking. No! Okay, now that's it! Now we're getting serious! Which one of you did that? You know what? Never mind! You all did it! Deadpool shouts out to the trolls. Cap tries to calm down Deadpool, but after watching Deadpool slash, he realizes that maybe he shouldn't right now. And after several minutes, Deadpool takes a couple deep breaths, asking, "Who else?" Cap stands over the mounds of bodies, telling him that there doesn't seem to be anybody else. Not here, in any event. But I'm pretty sure we could find others, Wade. Deadpool marches on, asking, "What are we waiting for then? Let's go kill some more bad guys!" And after cutting down a group of trolls, Deadpool screams, "Bring me more bad guys! Bring them on! 2 swords! No waiting!" Deadpool spins around, swinging at Cap, and as Cap blocks the attack, he tells Deadpool that he needs to calm down. Just ease up. We can handle things from here. Deadpool huffs as he leans on his street poles, telling him that he just wants to kill more bad guys. There's gotta be more. And Cap tells him that he really needs to get a grip. Relax. After taking a moment to catch his breath, Deadpool wipes his forehead, and then he goes back to aimlessly swinging, shouting, "Kill me! Destroy!" And it's at that moment that Spider-Man punches Deadpool, telling him, "I figure we should probably just move this along." Cap tells him, "Right. Everyone spread out and look for Loki's soldiers. We gotta take them all down." Thor tells him, "Nay, you do. The final battle is going to be between brothers. This is how it will end." While Deadpool takes a moment to reflect on the situation at hand, he suddenly hears an axe being slammed down next to his head. One of Loki's generals pulls the axe back, telling him that he's been far more trouble than he's worth. And the general swings again, with Deadpool asking, "How about you forget the weapons and we do this the old-fashioned way, with fisticuffs?" The general kicks Deadpool to the ground, telling him no. "You will die quickly and clean." The axe is raised and Mjolnir flies through, hitting the general in the head, knocking him out. Thor then looks down, stating that it would appear that you've been keeping busy. And Deadpool tells him, "Right! Let's get going. Right after my legs are working again." As the final clash between heroes and the trolls begin, Thor calls out through the crowds, telling Loki to surrender. Loki swings his sword, cutting into Thor's arm, asking, "Did you believe that thy hammer is the only weapon made of your metal?" Ha! Loki then slices into Thor's chest, and Thor says that this will merely delay your inevitable fate. As Loki raises the sword above his head, he swings, and Deadpool blocks the attack with his swords. Loki then shouts, asking, "How dare you become between me and my prey?" Loki then blasts Deadpool so he can focus back on Thor, but Deadpool gets back up, punching Loki, yelling, "I was so close to finishing my book! It was gonna be a bestseller, Loki!" Thor calls upon his hammer, and while Loki's attention is diverted, lightning strikes down where Loki is standing. Thor continues the surge, asking, "Have you had enough?" The lightning stops, and as Loki looks at his broken sword, he tells him that he believes so. So with our war ended, back at the publishing office, the publisher says that she's impressed. She really liked the real-world applications. How is he doing, by the way? Deadpool shuffles in on his wheelchair, telling her that it'll be fine. "Now about the book, how much are you gonna pay me?" The woman bursts out laughing, telling him, No. You misunderstand. You pay us. Here are some of your expenses." A short while later, in another publishing office, the mustache man in the Jedi robe says that it's really entertaining. And yes, Marvel would love to turn this into a graphic novel. Deadpool says, "Right. How much do I have to pay you then?" The man laughs. No, we're gonna pay you. But what's with these red splotches here? Jam? Ketchup? Deadpool leaves the office, a happy guy. "Yeah, sure, whatever." And that concludes Deadpool Art of War. A fun little mini-series involving Deadpool, and before we get back to the main Deadpool storylines, that's what we're looking at. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Click that little like button so that you too can write your own Art of War book, and follow us over at Patreon. And I'll see you guys next time, right here.